Hey cuties, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark, and we're of course going to be watching the quote-unquote real Blair Witch incident, obviously by Nexpo. It's been a while since we've done Nexpo, right? Have we done Nexpo at all? I'm pretty sure we have, but it might have only been like one video. Slash, it's been just a long time in general. Maybe I've done more. I don't know how much of him I've done before. But yep, we're just doing like a mixed bag of stuff for what essentially is like 25 days of rad, right? Because you don't get the same thing every day, right? And just jokingly, in the 12 days of Christmas, that song, every day is a different thing, right? So we had Dark Asia before, we had the Game Awards before that. Today we got Nexpo. Who knows what it'll be tomorrow? Maybe eventually we'll get back around to Chinaverse. But I think I've almost watched all of the Chinaverse stuff, so we kind of don't have much left there. I guess we need to do that reality show. Yeah, we haven't gotten to that reality show. I might just skip everything and be like, okay, let's do that reality show. Though, should that be like Christmas Eve, and the day before Christmas Eve? Should that be where we put those at? Question mark. Assuming that's stuff like people are like really waiting for. Like I think I might think about that. So I just gotta figure out what all the other days are. Again, no hater segment today. I haven't got any hate comments. No radical break today. Video's gonna be too short for that. But yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and get into it now. In case you didn't know, every single week I upload. Okay, he's just talking about his podcast. Again, I love these kind of like intros. I need to make one like this instead of like my graveyard. I need to make like a Skinamarink-esque thing, maybe. That actually just gave me like a good idea. I mean, if I end up doing this, you'll be the first to know about it. Since I'm assuming this isn't going to get as much views as something like the Chinaverse stuff, so that means you're exclusively getting to see me think this through, where I think I might actually do like a Skinamarink-esque new intro for this, because again, the current rad intro is just something I threw together off of like the outro I already had, because I made the outro like years ago, and like way before rad even existed. And I was like, let me just reuse that graveyard that I made, because if you didn't know, I am a 3D modeler. Reuse that graveyard that I made to do like a rad intro just real quick. But now maybe I should like from scratch make like a house, like an actual like full house, and just have a bunch of different camera shots, not panning, but switching between different camera angles, and then it ending on like a staticky TV that says reactions after dark or something like that. That would be pretty cool, right? Let's see if I can actually end up doing that or not. It'll be a long time before I actually do that, though.
To be honest with you, this isn't really about anything. This is about us.
March 2002, 5 friends in Michigan filmed themselves kidnapping a young woman. 5 days later, the friends are arrested. They now face life imprisonment. But is it real, or are you watching a game? Do I know about this? This is him. He's an ultra wide.
Quiet. The Walton Files blares on your bedroom TV, filling the void of darkness around you. It's peaceful, comfortable even. You scroll through Reddit, searching for something to pass the time. Before, out of nowhere, a lone post by an Emerald Spring populates your feed. They're searching for something, some sort of lost documentary called The Real Blair Witch. There seems to be so little information about this documentary out there, and absolutely nowhere to watch it. I recall it being on TV, and there's 1 or 2 references to it out there. It has nothing to do with the Blair Witch Project, and is more of a true crime documentary. I'd love to see it again, and it's frustrated me for years now, not being able to track it down. It must be out there in some archive somewhere, but I'm guessing its lack of availability kind of makes it lost.
Yeah, lost media. Does the real Jorge have it then? That's his thing, right? Is doing lost media. Which we haven't reacted to him on the channel yet. Mixed bag. I gotta find a Jorge video for tomorrow. Then blame it on Jorge.
At first glance, this seems relatively unassuming. Yet another lost media mystery with hardly a lead to go on. Yet the name, the real Blair Witch, shrouds it in this weird tinge of dread. I don't know what it is, but something about the way this is framed, the lack of information, something about this has sparked something. Within their post, Emerald Spring provides a link to its IMDb page, revealing that there's hardly anything to go off of.
Oh, the real Blair Witch. Actually, a movie from 2003. Again, I swear I've seen like information on this before. A group of teenagers from Flint, Michigan filmed themselves kidnapping and terrorizing a new acquaintance before taking her out to the woods and dumping her in a shallow grave. They then taunted their terrified and blindfolded victim, asking if she had any last requests before they cut her throat. But was the kidnap real or just a game? Yeah, I feel like someone like this has to, I don't know if this has to be real, but I don't know if it was like actually the actors from the actual Blair Witch was what I'm thinking of, like some sort of documentary on what happened to them after the movie. And like they actually kind of got, not screwed over, but something bad happened with them. Or am I remembering this and what happened to the people in this film?
Is barren. Just one review, a release year, and director. The only tangible bit of info here is the plot summary. A group of teens from Flint, Michigan filmed themselves kidnapping and terrorizing a new acquaintance before taking her out to the woods and dumping her in a shallow grave.
He's just reading it anyways.
Terrified and blindfolded victim, asking if she had any last requests before they cut her throat. But was the kidnap real or just a game? What's revealed is an extraordinary and disturbing record of a night when something went terribly, terribly wrong. Well, now you've got my attention. With such a graphic, visceral description of such an inhumane crime, curiosity in this case took off on Reddit. Comment after comment poured in, expressing interest in tracking this footage down. Most believed in its existence. Others.
Again, I swear I've already seen like a video on this like years ago. This is being talked about 4 years ago, so it might have been they found it some time ago, and that's when I learned about it. I vaguely remember maybe playing Splatoon, which is a Nintendo Switch game. Like Splatoon 2 or Splatoon 3. I think maybe Splatoon 3. Could be Splatoon 2. Whilst watching something that had to do with this case. And assuming I'm thinking of the right thing and not just something that had to do with Blair Witch. I swear it was this story. I just can't tell you what it was or who it came from.
Not so much. Regardless, though, the common theme here was intrigue. The Blair Witch Project, back when it came out, was horrifying, and the implications of someone recreating this in real life to torment a very real person sounds like it's straight out of a nightmare. What in the world did Emerald Spring watch back then? What truly is this? Over the following weeks, whispers about the doc's existence would trickle in. Mentions in online articles. A trailer on a production company called Raw TV's own Vimeo page. But what really sent this mystery into the stratosphere was nearly an entire year later when a Redditor named Transbian8787 would chime in with the revelation that no one saw coming. The real Blair Witch, as it turned out,
Well, I have a studio master copy I am currently uploading.
very real. However, once Pandora's box was opened and the internet began to sink their collective teeth into it, it was realized that this story is much, much stranger than anyone had imagined.
Yeah, I think I have seen this.
Isn't just a film. It's
I think people actually went to jail, and maybe someone even died, and someone might even like self-exited. I don't remember.
It's into one of the eeriest, most bizarre incidents that I have ever read about, ensnaring nearly everyone involved.
The real Blair Witch incident.
Ladies and
Next,
gentlemen,
Bow
in the
Theater.
event of an emergency, please walk to the nearest exit. Thank you.
This is so analog horror. I just love analog horror. So I'm saying I need to make a new intro that's like Skinamarink. Is Skinamarink like considered analog horror? I assume so, right? It doesn't matter. It's like a different kind of horror. Like the arrow and even that sound, 1999. Oof, this music's...
When the Blair Witch Project hit theaters in 1999, it didn't just scare audiences, it changed the horror genre.
I didn't realize it was 1999 when this movie came out.
More than just a film, it became a psychological experiment that made people question what was real and what wasn't. The setup was simple. 3 young filmmakers set out to document an old urban legend, only to vanish without a trace. What remained was the footage they left behind. But unlike traditional horror films, this story had no scripted feel, no heart-stopping jump scares, just raw, unfiltered horror. The shaky camera work, improvised dialogue, and eerie silence between panicked breaths all made it feel as if it were set in reality. And that was exactly the point. The movie, as you'd expect, became an overnight sensation, shattering records and opening the door to a completely fresh, realistic, and raw form of terror. However, its impact stretched well beyond the film industry.
Yeah, and then everyone kept trying to replicate that. When you had Cloverfield, you had the Paranormal Activity, though I am one of those ones who actually likes Paranormal Activity, and Cloverfield might as well be my favorite movie. I don't know if it actually is or not, but just because I don't put thought into what that is, and I don't know if I know what my favorite movie is, I just say Cloverfield. Um, Blair Witch, I did watch eventually, and I was like, I don't think I really cared too much for it. Blair Witch 2, which isn't the same kind of movie, I think I might have liked that more than the first one, just because it's like an actual movie, like a proper movie. Couldn't tell you anything about it though. It's been so long. It's been like probably it's been more than a decade since I've watched either of those movies. But yeah, I couldn't tell you much about either of them now. Yeah, I like the Paranormal Activity series. I think all of the movies is any of them bad? I think they're all fine. Yeah, I think they're all fine. I think I do have a favorite out of them. I don't know which one it is though. I'm kind of just wish they would make more of the Paranormal Activity. I think they are, or maybe they aren't. Because the last movie that I watched, and I think it is the last movie that came out, has nothing. Well, it's like a completely new branch of the series. It's not following the same story anymore. The other story might as well not even exist, right? Like they ended all of that, and now they started a new kind of plot. And of course, if you've been following Cloverfield, I think you have Cloverfield original, Cloverfield, or 10 Cloverfield Lane, and then the Cloverfield Paradox. There's only 3 movies, right? Honestly, but I was saying Cloverfield might be my favorite movie. 10 Cloverfield Lane, that's a good freaking movie. And the Cloverfield actually ruins the movie. The fact that it is Cloverfield related, that actually brings the movie down, because before that, it's like amazing. I wish more of like the beginning of the movie was there before the Cloverfield part hits. I wish 10 Cloverfield Lane was a show, so you could just have hours and hours of this like tension or whatever. And that's a good. I might upgrade the Cloverfield being my favorite movie to 10 Cloverfield Lane being my favorite movie. And the Cloverfield Paradox is whatever. But again, I would want more in the Cloverfield series. Same thing with the Paranormal Activity series. So hopefully they keep making stuff there.
Suddenly, horror fans, amateur filmmakers, and thrill seekers were heading into abandoned locations and recording eerie footage, and the internet soon became a breeding ground for low-resolution videos claiming to document real paranormal encounters.
Again, I wish I could go ghost hunting. I don't, but I don't have like a really good camcorder. I don't have anyone to go with. I don't have any of the equipment, but I would love to just do stuff like that.
Some were easily debunked, others less so. And that's where things began to take a strange turn, because when an entire generation starts to believe that some of the most terrifying things can be caught on a simple high-8 tape, it's only a matter of time before someone tries to prove it.
I think this is this is like an intermission. He's gonna have an ad here, so we're just gonna skip past this. It was a ad for NordVPN, so go check out his NordVPN link. I mean, I don't really use these VPNs or anything like that. I mean, Google Opera has a built-in VPN, so if I want to use a VPN, I just end up using Opera instead. So
February 2002. It's a frigid night in the town of Flint, Michigan, and a 19-year-old named Danielle Taylor crosses paths with a 20-year-old Travis Paya, a community college student with big dreams of making horror films. Paya shared a house with a man named John Cockrow, another student and self-proclaimed horror fanatic. Their house, it was the spot per se, the hangout for their tight-knit circle, which included a James Carwile, Christina Lum, and Derek Faxlinger. At first, everything...
Why does James... let me get that back on the screen.
circle, which included a James Carwile, Christina Lum, and Derek Faxlinger.
What does James look like? I don't know, like a young Reggie Fils-Aimé. You know who I'm talking about? He was like the American CEO. Was he CEO? He was like the guy in charge of Nintendo of America for like a long time until he retired. That guy, James looks like a weird, young, maybe slightly heavier Reggie Fils-Aimé.
At first, everything seemed mundane within their friend group. Danielle would visit the house a handful of times, and nothing seemed all that out of the ordinary. Just a few weeks later, on the night of March 6th, however, their entire dynamic would, out of nowhere, take a dark turn. By complete surprise, Danielle was restrained, blindfolded, handcuffed, and threatened with murder. And all of it filmed on a single high-A tape.
Say hello.
Hi.
Okay, I have a question for you.
The video opens inside a dimly lit house, bathed in the eerie green glow that can only be provided by an old-school night vision camera. Danielle stands front and center, seeming a bit annoyed that she's being filmed. Behind the camera is Travis Paya, his voice steady as he asks her a strange question. What would you say if you knew this was your last day on Earth? Danielle smirks, brushing off the question with a simple, fuck you. There's a heavy undercurrent of something else, though. Something unspoken. A shadow moves behind her. One of the men steps forward, revealing something in his hands. A blindfold, maybe a gag, and the mood shifts. Travis prompts Danielle again, this time instructing to say ready, set, go. Sensing something is off, she refuses. Someone's behind her. Something is up here. She turns. Yet before she can react, multiple hands grab at her. She barely has time to respond before she's wrestled to the ground. She fights briefly, but it doesn't take long for her to realize she isn't getting away. Whatever this is, it's happening. The scene cuts. We find ourselves in a car. The lighting.
Is it actually okay to watch this? Because I don't remember if this is real or not. Because I swear, like, there was like actual arrests, like jail time, self-deletion, and whatnot that happened from this. I swear. Because again, I swear I've like watched something that had to do with this. Like, I don't know if it's a documentary, but I've watched someone talk about this before. Not in Expo, because this was only uploaded 7 months ago. It wouldn't have been 7 months ago. Plus, I didn't say I'd watched this.
Again, night vision. Danielle sits in the back seat, blindfolded, scared out of her mind. She's stiff, her face only showing fear. Christina Lum, the only other woman to appear in the video, is driving. She doesn't say much, just keeps her eyes on the road. At first, the guys verbally taunt her, but there's this edge to it. And then we see it. One of them, Jonathan Cockrell, has a knife, and it's pressed right up against her. They start asking her questions. Did you have a good life? Say your last words to your family. If you could go back in time and change anything, would you? Danielle hesitates. She tells her mom she loves her.
Wouldn't it just be like, having never met y'all, so this wouldn't have never happened?
She's sorry for everything. She tells those in the car with her that she has nothing to say to them. Nothing she says will be right anyway. No one reassures her. No one tells her it's okay. And the video cuts again. Deep in the heart of the forest, the camera follows as James carries Danielle over his shoulder. The group moves with a sense of purpose, heading straight for a spot they've already prepared. A shallow grave, barely 2 or 3 feet deep. They set her down before explaining what's coming next. They're going to cut her before burying her alive and leaving her to die. Travis stands over the pit, knife in hand. The blindfold that had been covering Danielle's eyes is pulled down around her neck, and she doesn't say a word. Following this, Travis kneels down, brings the blade right up to her, and then nothing. He never actually cuts her. He mimes the act of slashing Danielle's throat before she goes completely limp and pretends to be dead.
Congratulations, you're dead. Welcome to the afterlife.
Just like that, the entire mood shifts. The group starts laughing, giving each other pats on the back over what they had just done. One by one, they turn to the camera, introducing themselves, explaining their roles in this so-called film. They even take bows, grinning the entire time.
She smoked a cigarette.
As it turned out, wouldn't die that night. Contrary to the knife being held to her throat, contrary to her being tied up against her will, contrary to her being thrown haphazardly into a massive hole in the ground, this was nothing but a stunt. A prank for a movie. Funny, right?
The Blair Witch symbol there too. Was a prank for the movie actually, like, in this quote-unquote movie? Like, did they actually show up on the screen at prank for the
The
movie?
recording. The group unties her, harping on just how realistic, how entertaining her reaction was. Surely, this will seem visceral enough to make it to film. This was their big break, their escape from Flint, Michigan, after all. For Danielle, though, she was far from fine. Just a few minutes before, she thought she was dying. She had nothing to laugh about here, because the entire joke was solely on her.
I can't remember his name.
Danielle?
Danielle.
So far, it's been easy to follow Danielle's state of mind throughout this. A woman trapped by those she trusted, a victim of an inhumane prank. However, that's where our central problem begins, because was this really? Was this all nothing but a sick joke? That is the question that soon becomes the heart of this entire incident. And the answer.
Yeah, I think it was like is it all a joke? Is she in on it? Is she not in it? Is she pretending to not be on it? Or what? I think that was the entire thing. But again, I swear to God, this gets out of hand after the movie.
Sir, depends on who you believe.
It looks like an ordinary day in the USA, but in the city of Flint, Michigan, all is excitement. Even the small fry are buzzing. And the older boys and girls are let out of school. Oh, this is a day. The whole town's a bustle. Yes, sirree, there's going to be a parade, too. And what's a parade without festive bunting and gala decorations?
The city of Flint, Michigan is undoubtedly one of desolation. It's a place once bustling, lively, full of opportunity. Yet today, it stands as nothing but a shell of what it once was. When the automotive industry backed away, it left a void of broken dreams, families with shattered aspirations. It's depressing that something like this can actually happen to those who had no hand in the matter at all. Like we established, the Blair Witch Project shattered the world, sending audiences into a frenzy and inspiring loads of those with nothing but a camera to create something horrifying of their very own. The entire group maintains that they all had hopes, dreams to get out of Flint and to make something of themselves. And while they could have chosen a myriad of ways to do that, the film industry, for once in its near century-long history, felt like something attainable, a vehicle to a completely new life.
And what, 3 days later after they filmed this?
In the following days, Danielle Taylor, reeling from the incident on March 6th, would revisit the Paya home. It was done on invitation, a night for all of them to rewatch their masterpiece. Yet for Danielle, she had other plans.
If you scream and you fight, we put a gag in your mouth and throw you in the trunk. If you relax and accept death and what's coming to you.
After the tape ran its course, she secretly swiped it, replaced it with another, and after the events of that night had wound down, she set out to report the entire group to law enforcement. Within a week, the lives of Jonathan Cockerell, Travis Paya, Christina Lum, James Carwile, and Derek Vaxlinger, everyone involved in perpetrating this stunt, would change. They were all arrested, finding themselves awaiting trial on kidnapping and assault charges, and facing anywhere from 7 years to life in prison under Michigan law.
Oof, like Jesus, like to law, like to life, I mean. For this, well, I mean, it's just a prank bro kind of situation, but like again, that's why you shouldn't be doing that. That's why it's just a prank. It's such a memed on thing because no, it's not, after a certain point, it's not just a prank. You're going too far, right? I couldn't remember exactly what happened. So they all were arrested, question mark, but again, it's still the thing of was she in on it or no, or like why would she want to throw all of them under the bus unless it was actually real? Again, I think some of these people, or one of them actually self-exited. Like a lot of them just end up dying. I don't remember what it is. Again, I've seen something about this years ago, I swear.
Contrary to their claims of simply aspiring to create a horror movie, Danielle Taylor maintained that she had no idea about any of this. To her, this was all very real, and given our glance at the footage, it's easy to empathize with her. Interestingly though, support for her wouldn't be unanimous, as once testimonies came out and the footage was given a second look, cracks in the facade began to show. Danielle, at numerous points throughout the footage, does things that make no sense. She scratches her nose. She inquires on if the rope is tight enough, and just minutes after she supposedly thought she was dying, she can be seen laughing alongside the group.
I survived, and I'm freezing and my arms hurt.
Don't move anymore. I swear to God, I'm using a plate to do this. Right?
A bizarre reaction, especially considering the circumstances.
You just chalked up to being like just people act differently to things like nervousness, trauma, whatever. Just like laugh it off, or just pretend like everything's fine because you don't know what these people are gonna do. If you just thought they were about to kill you and then they're like, oh, it's just a prank, you would be like, haha, it was so funny, haha, and then you would be like trying to get away as fast as possible, after pretending that everything is fine. Like, okay, let's just go along with whatever's going on, and then we can go home and everything will be fine, right? So you can see it either way. That she's in on it, which I was saying. I think that was a point of contention with this, is if she was in on it the entire time and she just wanted to destroy these guys' lives for no reason, or what.
Even still, a Lapeer County prosecutor named Brian Concha spoke to the media on Danielle's behalf, maintaining his belief that she did not know that any of it was staged until the end. The prank was intended by the participants, but the last party, the victim, was not in on it. Conversely, attorneys representing the accused said the tape shows that Danielle, in fact, did know that it was a movie, citing the fact that she never begged the group not to kill her, appeared to smile after the gig was up, and had not once told them to stop. She pretends to play dead for about a minute, one said. If she truly thought she was going to be buried alive, she would have struggled. As we can see, all we have here is a he said she said situation. No one here ever knew the answer on if she were acting in this stunt. Not the prosecutors, not their lawyers, no one but Danielle Taylor. In the midst of an intense legal battle, Christina Lum had turned on her group of friends, accepting a plea bargain on a reduced charge of attempted felonious assault, and received a suspended 6-month sentence pending the completion of probation.
Yeah, this was like the other woman, right? That was with the other four. How many people were it? Was it? Like, was it 3 guys and a woman? Or is it 4 guys and a woman?
Derek Faxlinger was ordered to pay a $200 fine. Jimmy Carwile received a 4-month sentence, while Peya and Cockrell got 8 months. All suspended sentences following the completion of probation. All of them inevitably served their time and got out. However, in the end, another affliction entirely would befall them.
Yeah, something else happens. I don't remember what it was, though. I was saying someone here dies.
Travis Peya, the group's ringleader, passed away on Tuesday, April 18th, 2006. Derek Faxlinger passed away on Monday, February 12th, 2007. And Jonathan Cockrell lost his life on Wednesday, February 19th of 2014.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, they just all started dropping like flies. I mean, these are over several years, but
all of them were less than 35 years old. Almost like a curse, 3 of the 4 men involved in the real Blair Witch incident had died before their lives could even get off the ground, and any information surrounding them, barren. All that seemed to exist was hearsay, notably on the website My Death Space, in which Travis Peya's cause of death was speculated to have been caused by drug use. Furthermore, mentions of Derek Faxlinger come up in reference to an MLive article, which states that he passed away from an epileptic seizure and had his organs donated to those in need. Even still, though, nothing definitive on whether this came from the fallout of the real Blair Witch ever came up. Onlookers then were just as conflicted, just as confused as all of us today.
yeah, 'cause it's just not necessarily confirmation bias, but it's just like, okay, these people who are chalked up in this weird, was it kidnapping, was it not kidnapping, is based on like the Blair Witch stuff, just started dropping like flies, minus the woman who was in on it, right? I don't know if there's a 4th guy or not, but I think the woman's still alive. I don't know. Is she still around? Like, what happened to the actual kidnappee though?
For a while, it seemed like this was the end to the real Blair Witch saga. A lost media legend turned criminal battle that resulted in the loss of 3 lives. However, an entire year after the original Reddit post was made, a user named Beef Brothel emerged out of seemingly nowhere, shedding light on the deaths of their supposed friends.
Their friends.
John and Trav have all passed away. Derek had a seizure in the shower and sadly passed from that. His organs were donated and saved quite a few people. He was an extremely kind person and gave great hugs. Travis had a terrible tooth infection, and I'm not sure if that was the cause, but it was a contributing factor in his death. John was depressed, I can't deny that. His mother died and they were quite close, so his partying ramped up during the period after her passing. Another friend was with him that night. They were celebrating his new apartment, and it was simply an accidental overdose. He was one of my best friends, and I'm still angry at him for being so careless, especially because things were moving in such a positive direction for him. None of their deaths were because of the pressure of the case. Jim and I still talk occasionally, but he moved to another state and lives a private life. He's a good man, and I think he was affected the most by this situation. The girl apologized to them after the fact and insisted that she never wanted any of this to happen. She was known to our graduating class as a notorious exaggerator before any of this ever happened, so there's that. Plus, she was young and was being told by a lot of authority figures that she had to go along with this prosecution. She claimed after the fact that she believed taking the video from the house would prove that it was just a joke and everyone would just get off the hook. She didn't realize that John was pausing the recording between shots. Part of me thinks she initially enjoyed the initial attention, but it spiraled way out of control. If I didn't know, these guys participated in these types of pranks on all of our friends weekly, made a dozen backyard horror films with them, spent all of my free time with them for years. I would think they were psychos too. That's just not the case. Jackass and Blair Witch were huge at this time, so it was kind of a mashup of the two genres to them. We all knew that if you went to Rancho, you could get pranked. It's just how things were. They did almost the exact thing to another friend a week or two before, and she was the one who suggested that they film it next time. Unfortunate. This was a devastating time for our group of friends, their families, and their loved ones. Visiting them in jail was bonkers. I'll never forget how sad they all looked and how many people came to see them. Everyone knew that they did not do this maliciously, except the prosecutor, and he was a real asshole. Long story short, it was a prank, and everyone except the law knew that.
You can't. I mean, depends on if she knew it was a prank or not. But even still, though, if she didn't know, we can't keep using "oh, it's just a prank, bro," because that's what this person's saying right now. It was just a prank, bro. I'm pretty sure this is a girl saying this. Like she's just saying it was just a prank, bro. But that doesn't hold up in a court of law. Because if you traumatize someone enough, like by doing that, you're gonna get in trouble. What happened to the prank with that one guy? Because do you know prank channels were such a rage for a while? The guy who like got fake kidnapped and like pretended to shoot somebody next to him and whatever, and then he like freaked out and was like, "Oh, it's just a prank." Like, what happened to those guys? Like, did that actually turn out to be like? Did they actually kidnap him? Was it actually just a staged prank? Like he was just acting and like pretending that he like was crying or like upset that the person next to him just got shot. Was his best friend who was supposed to be getting shot next to him? Like I think he was like tied to a chair or something. But yeah, like whatever happened to them. Again, moral of the story, like it's just a prank, bro. Doesn't work in law. Question mark. Though it is just weird that the three of these guys just saw like passed so young and apparently technically not from self-exit. So who knows what happens with that. It's just kind of weird. It makes you be like, okay, this is like really weird, but it can just be a coincidence, right? Because nothing happened to the woman, so.
Say hello.
Hi.
Okay, I have a question for you. You just said hi. But if you had one thing to say, if this was your last day on Earth, what would it be? Why fuck
The real Blair Witch incident is a bizarre, unsettling chapter in the history of lost media. A story that serves as both a reflection of our deepest fears and a reminder of the human capacity for cruelty. How far would you go for a chance to escape a place in which you have no future? Was Danielle in on things, or was she truly terrified for her life that night? I've always said that lost media, by nature, carries this enduring sense of mystery, and in my opinion, this one is no different. It is, and always will be, eerie, a look into the lives of intensely conflicted individuals. But if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's that we may likely never, ever get our hands on the full original tape in its entirety. The story of Danielle Taylor will forever live on through the lens of news reports and documentaries. And in its wake, an unsolvable question. Did she truly know? Perhaps we never will. A lost media mystery that may never find a resolution.
I mean, she's still alive, so could just be like, hey, for real this time, like they're all gone now? Question mark. Just tell us, were you in on it the entire time, or was it truly just real to you? Question mark. So she's still alive. The other girl's still alive. If there's a fourth guy, he's still alive. The real Blair Witch incident. Again, I swear I've watched. Oh, there's the credits. I've watched some sort of video on YouTube about this years ago. Again, somewhere around the Splatoon 2, Splatoon 3 era. Like I'm assuming Splatoon 3, so that means not that long ago. Splatoon 2 is old, but Splatoon 3 is relatively newer. I mean, newer as in like several years ago, many years ago. So it literally could have been 4 years ago, 3 years ago when I had come across whatever that video was about this. But yeah, that is that. I just wanted to know what this was about because I didn't know if it was going to be that or there's some sort of other thing that I didn't know about. But just thought this would be interesting to go over. Though it kind of opens up the door to do like Blame It on Jorge tomorrow. See if I can find any cool lost media stuff to watch from him tomorrow, because is kind of like the lost media guy, right? I think he does like random stuff Like true crime stuff, maybe here and there sometimes, I don't know. But I think mainly he's a lost media guy, so we might be watching that tomorrow. So if you're into that, that'll be tomorrow, maybe, if I find something to actually put on. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. I don't think I have anything else to say. Like, I'm really thinking about it. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. So yeah, cuties, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, or think about becoming a member, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so we're going to watch time and subscribers, and over we have a throne now as well. And shout out the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. But yeah, cuties, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. Another do. See ya.